Did you know that when you receive money, whether it's a paycheck, birthday cash, or even a surprise refund, your brain reacts in almost the exact same way it does when someone takes drugs like cocaine? That's not an exaggeration. Neuroscientists have actually scanned brains and watched the same reward circuits light up. Dopamine gets released, motivation spikes, and suddenly a piece of paper or a number on a screen feels powerful, which raises an uncomfortable question. If money is just an idea, something humans made up, why does it control so much of our behavior? Why does it make people anxious, aggressive, generous, secretive, or obsessed? Why do friendships break over it? Why does losing money hurt so badly, even when we're technically still okay? Today, we're diving into the psychology behind money. We're going to explore what money does to the human brain, how it shapes the way we behave, and how evolution turned an abstract concept into one of the strongest psychological forces in human history. By the end of this video, you won't just understand money better, you'll understand yourself better. Why the psychology of money matters. Money is one of those things we interact with every single day, yet rarely stop to think about. It influences where we live, what we wear, the food we eat, and even how we see ourselves compared to other people. For teens and young adults especially, money often feels like the gatekeeper to freedom, success, and adulthood itself. But here's the strange part. Money has no built-in value. You can't eat it, you can't breathe it, you can't survive on it directly, and yet your brain treats money as if your life depends on it. That's because money isn't really about dollars or coins. It's about what your brain thinks money represents. Safety, opportunity, status, control, belonging. Understanding the psychology of money matters because most financial mistakes aren't caused by lack of intelligence. They're caused by how the brain is wired. Once you understand that wiring, you stop blaming yourself and start making better decisions. So let's start where all of this really begins. Inside the brain. What money does to the brain. The human brain is a reward-seeking machine. It evolved to notice anything that improves survival and remember how to get more of it. Food does this. Social approval does this. And money, especially in modern society, does this extremely well. When you receive money, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in pleasure, motivation, and learning. Dopamine isn't just about feeling good, it's about wanting more. It trains your brain to repeat whatever behavior led to the reward. That's why earning money feels exciting. Spending money feels satisfying, and even anticipating money, like waiting for payday, can feel oddly energizing. On the flip side, losing money activates pain centers in the brain. Not metaphorical pain, but real neurological pain. Brain scans show that financial loss triggers the same regions associated with physical injury. To your brain, losing money feels like getting hurt. This is why people panic during market crashes, obsess over expenses, or feel emotionally crushed after a financial setback, even if they're not actually in danger. The brain isn't rational here, it's protective. And that protection system doesn't understand modern economics. It still thinks money equals survival. Why money feels so emotional. Even though money is abstract, your brain doesn't process it that way. It processes money as a stand-in for everything that once kept humans alive. Thousands of years ago, resources meant food, shelter, and safety. If you had them, you survived. If you didn't, you didn't. Over time, money became the universal symbol for access to those resources. Your brain never got the update that money is now mostly digital and often imaginary. It still reacts as if every dollar gained or lost is a matter of life and death. That's why checking your bank account can change your mood instantly. A higher number brings relief. A lower number brings anxiety. The emotional reaction happens before logic has a chance to step in. This emotional wiring explains a lot of modern behavior, especially when it comes to spending and saving. How money changes the way we behave. One of the most powerful ways money affects behavior is through scarcity. When your brain believes resources are limited, it shifts into survival mode. Long-term thinking shuts down. Impulse control weakens. The focus becomes immediate relief. This is why people who feel financially insecure are more likely to make short-term decisions that hurt them later. It's not because they're irresponsible, it's because their brain is prioritizing the present moment over the future. Your brain is essentially saying, We'll deal with tomorrow when we get there. Right now, we need comfort. That's also why overspending is so common. When you buy something you want, you get an immediate dopamine hit. Saving, on the other hand, doesn't feel rewarding in the moment. It's abstract, it's delayed, and the brain hates delayed rewards. Psychologists call this temporal discounting, the tendency to value immediate rewards more than future ones. It's the reason you might promise yourself you'll save next month while simultaneously ordering something online at 2 a.m. that you absolutely did not need. In those moments, your brain isn't thinking about budgets or long-term goals. It's chasing relief and stimulation. Money and identity. At some point, money stopped being just a tool and started becoming part of identity. People don't just ask what you do, they ask how much you make. Society quietly equates income with intelligence, ambition, and worth. Your brain absorbs this messaging whether you want it to or not. That's why being broke often feels shameful, even though it's extremely common. It's why people flex expensive items they can't afford. It's why financial success can feel like validation and financial struggle can feel like personal failure. From a psychological perspective, this makes sense. Humans evolved in groups where status mattered. High-status individuals had better access to resources and protection. Low-status individuals risked exclusion. Money became the modern scoreboard. So when you compare your financial situation to others, especially on social media, your brain isn't just comparing numbers, it's comparing rank. How money evolved to have this power. To understand why money affects us so deeply, we have to zoom out and look at evolution. Early humans didn't trade currency. They traded resources: food, tools, shelter, protection. Those who controlled resources had power. Those who shared resources built trust and alliances. Eventually, societies needed a more efficient system. Money was invented as a shared agreement, a symbol that represented value. Everyone agreed to believe in it, and that belief made it real. But evolution doesn't work on belief systems. It works on survival instincts. Your brain still treats money as if it were food or shelter. That's why financial insecurity triggers anxiety, even when you logically know you'll be okay. Money hijacked ancient survival circuits and plugged directly into them. Money, power, and social behavior. Another fascinating aspect of money psychology is how it changes social behavior. Research shows that when people feel financially secure, or even just feel wealthy, they behave differently. They speak more confidently. They take up more physical space. They're more likely to interrupt or assert opinions. Their brain associates money with control, and control reduces fear. On the other hand, feeling poor often makes people quieter, more cautious, and more stressed. Not because of personality, but because the brain perceives vulnerability. This is also why having savings, not just spending power, improves mental health. Savings tell the brain, we're safe, and safety calms the nervous system. Ironically, this means money's greatest psychological benefit isn't luxury, it's peace. Why money doesn't make us happy, for long. Here's the twist no one likes to talk about. Despite all the dopamine and motivation, money doesn't actually create lasting happiness. Your brain adapts quickly. A raise feels amazing until it becomes normal. A new purchase feels exciting until it's just another object. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill. No matter how much you gain, your baseline happiness tends to return to where it started. This is why constantly chasing more money can feel exhausting rather than fulfilling. The brain always wants the next upgrade, the next level, the next comparison win. Money solves problems, but it doesn't satisfy the brain's deeper needs for meaning, connection, and purpose. Building a healthier relationship. With money. The goal isn't to stop caring about money. The goal is to understand how your brain reacts to it, so you can make decisions intentionally instead of emotionally. One of the most powerful shifts is reframing money as a tool rather than a measure of worth. Your brain responds better to purpose than pressure. When money supports values instead of ego, it creates less stress and more clarity. Another strategy is automation. Because your brain is emotional, removing decision-making from the equation helps. Automatic savings, budgeting systems, and waiting periods before purchases reduce impulsive behavior. Most importantly, learning to define success on your own terms protects you from constant comparison. Your brain will always compare, it evolved to, but you don't have to obey every thought it produces. So here's the big takeaway. Money isn't just about math. It's about psychology. It's about how the brain interprets safety, status, and survival. Once you understand that, money loses some of its power over you and becomes something you can actually use instead of fear. If this video made you think differently about money, hit the like button. It helps more people see content like this. I'd also love to hear from you. What's one way money has influenced your behavior or emotions that you never noticed before? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more videos breaking down psychology, the brain, and human behavior in a way that actually makes sense, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. The more you understand your brain, the better decisions you'll make, not just with money, but with life. See you next time.